Welcome to Catholic Views, where we get to know the faith and those who live it. I'm your host, Renee Kranz. On today's show, we will have Michael Pauly, the Executive Director of the South Dakota Catholic Conference, here to talk about not Amendment G, but Initiated Measure 29, which is the measure to legalize recreational marijuana. We haven't had a chance to talk about that much, so we wanted to bring Michael in to discuss that issue and why, as Catholics especially, but why we should vote no on that initiated measure. First, we have Dr. Chris Bergwald in the studio for Biblical Bites with Dr. B. That was very sing-songy. In the studio.
You're usually a little sing-songy.
A little sing-songy.
So it didn't seem that.
It was sing-songy on a different phrase.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, Renee.
Hey.
We're gonna be so it's the 26th Sunday in Ordinary Time.
Ooh, we're getting close.
That's true.
Like
we are
what,
getting
10 weeks?
Oh.
Or is it 9?
30, the last Sunday in Ordinary Time, the Solemnity of our Lord Jesus Christ, King of the Universe, is the 34th Sunday in Ordinary Time.
So 8.
So 8.
So I was close.
Yeah,
I was not
you
that
were.
far.
Yeah. No, you were. Or you correct. You were not that far off. The gospel here right now, as we're coming to the end of year B, is from Mark, and the gospel today is about millstones around necks and so on, and Gehenna and unquenchable fire and so on.
Actually, just had a conversation with a person today about millstones around necks, which is interesting.
But we're not going to talk about the gospel because as vibrant, if you will, as the gospel is, I think that St. James in his letter, at least the portion that we hear from in the second reading, matches our Lord's intensity, or maybe surpasses.
Really? I mean, he's talking about millstones around necks.
Listen
This
to what
is
James
serious.
has
Okay.
to say to
Okay.
us. This is from chapter 5, verses 1 through 6, if you want to look it up. Come now, you rich, weep and wail over your impending miseries. Your wealth has rotted away. Your clothes have become moth-eaten. Your gold and silver have corroded, and that corrosion will be a testimony against you. It will devour your flesh like fire.
Oh my gosh.
You have stored up treasure for the last days. Behold, the wages you withheld from the workers who harvested your fields are crying aloud, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on earth in luxury and pleasure. You have fattened your hearts for the day of slaughter. You have condemned, you have murdered the righteous one. He offers you no resistance. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Yeah.
So, did I not tell you that James was going to bring it?
Like the whole
today?
Congregation has slunk underneath their pews at this point.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
So, on the one hand, I think you could read that. Yeah, those rich people. Yeah. But you didn't, right? So, I was struck because I kind of glanced up at you, and as soon as I started, you started to grimace. So, because we have some time today, why'd you grimace?
Because
you're not a 1%er, Renee. You and
Renee. I don't
Ryan
think
are
it takes a
fine.
1%er to be rich. I think this is. I don't think it really probably takes that much, as much as we think.
Why do you say that?
We live in great, enormous comfort in this country, especially when you look at the rest of the world, much of the rest of the world, and we just place too many things ahead of God and faith and everything else. And that's almost where the rich probably comes in more fully, is where do we place our attention? Yes, you have all these things, but those things pull your attention away.
So
even if they're half the things this other guy has, it's not a comparison, I don't think, necessarily.
I hear you. Renee, I think you're being too hard on yourself. I mean,
that'd be nice.
Did you?
'Cause I'm not rich, but
did you withhold wages from the workers who harvested field? I mean, do you own fields?
Not technically, but that withholding wages can be seen in many ways, I think. And don't ask me that, but like not giving to the poor, not giving to your church.
The goods that you have.
Yeah.
Who made them and how much did they make?
Right.
Yeah. So obviously, with that last, I'm going to stop. I think we as the vast majority of people living in the United States of America fall within this. And maybe, I mean, in the sense that to everything you said, we are, by the standard of the world today, let alone throughout history, we are the 1%ers.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we don't own fields but to your point, how generous are we with those who are legitimately in need in our country or in other parts of the world?
Right. Or in our own town.
Or in our own town. Exactly.
Yeah.
In our own town. So I'm grateful. And so as always, we're recording this beforehand. But I want to, when Sunday comes around and I hear this reading, I really, and no, that's nothing against the gospel.
Yeah, I kind of want to know how we're supposed to react to
But
this.
I want to receive it in the way that the Lord wants me to receive it. Because for me, as I was preparing for recording Biblical Bites here today, it was very convicting for me. That because James's language is very, very strong.
Yeah.
I think it was Archbishop Fulton Sheen, who's on the path towards canonization, who talked about we shouldn't measure our generosity by how much we give. We should measure it by how much we have left.
Oh, okay.
So when I'm thinking about, what I'm giving to the church or to other charities, we usually think, okay, when we do it by percentage of our income. So a lot of people, not a lot of Catholics, but there are a lot of Christians who give literally 10% of their charity.
Right.
Catholics were at about 2 or 3%.
Right. Pathetic.
Yeah. But to flip even that, no, how much do I have? And it's not that necessarily that we have to live in extreme poverty, but I think for me, how attached are we to material goods? Or if I lost it all, I'd be okay with that.
Right.
I think James is really challenging us to re-examine how we think about money and material goods.
Yeah, really good things to consider. Thanks, Dr. B.
You bet.